Hello, today we are going to record October 2024 paper, question number 3. Complete Retail has stores in East Town, Southville and Northam. So the departmental statement of profit and loss is given and some additional information is given. There is also non-allocated overheads which is given. Okay, then this data is given. So let's start with the first question. 3A, define the terms allocated overheads. So allocation overheads are nothing but the costs, okay, or the costs which can be completely identified to a specific cost center. So allocated overheads are going to be the cost. It is a allotment of the whole cost to a specific cost center. I can say that this cost center has generated this much of expenses to the business. And then depreciation is going to be also a cost. It's an expense. Okay, it's an estimate of the loss in the value of non-current asset over its expected working life. Okay, it's an estimate of the so it's a depreciation is a cost. You can write it is a cost that represents. Okay, it's a cost that's going to represent, that represents an estimate of the loss in the value of the current assets. Why am I recording this? You are writing the reason. So because it will lose its value over a expected period of usage, okay, over its lifetime. Now next one is complete the table apportioning costs to the 3 stores to the most appropriate basis available. Now we have seen that this is the non-allocated overheads. So now these have to be apportioned based on some cost basis. So we will do that appropriation of the costs. Okay, so these are not allocated costs, these are non-allocated overheads. We have to apportion them based on certain criteria. So first you should know that if I say rent, they are usually apportioned by how much of space or the floor area a particular department owns. Okay, like this. Okay, based on the floor area. So if you can, okay, that is the first thing. Then depreciation. This entire cost I have to split between the 3 departments. So I will use how much of equipment and fixture each department is owning. Based on that, I can say I will depreciate the cost or the expense to that department. Okay, this will be in some ratio. This entire cost is going to be split. Then light and heat, this cost is going to be also split based on the floor area, okay, or the room space it occupies. Then the staff costs, this is going to be on the number of staffs who are employed in each department. Okay, based on that ratio I will split this cost to each department. Then we have the marketing costs. Marketing costs are usually split based on the revenue that's going to be earned by each department. That's how you split the marketing costs. Okay, now the first thing is it's better to understand the and keep the ratio before starting the apportionment, so that it will save a lot of time. First one is a floor area. So you have that each one is having 15,000 meter, square meter, 8,000 and 2,000. So the total area is going to be around 250,000. So you add up all this, 250,000. Now whenever they are going to say you use the ratio, I'm going to split the cost, I will use 15,000 divided by 250. Okay, 250,000. So that means it is I think this should be 25,000. Okay, so 25,000 is the total value. So 15,000 divided by 25,000, so approximately 15 by 25 will be the ratio of the proportion of the total area, floor area occupied by East Town. Now Southwell is going to occupy 8 by 25 portion of the entire 25. Okay, then Northam is going to occupy 2. Okay, 2,000 divided by 25,000, that is 2 by 25th of the area is going to be occupied by Northam. Then for equipment and fixtures, okay, they are in thousands. So when you add up all the asset cost, it's going to be 250. Okay, out of that we can see that 100 is of 100 out of 250 is going to be occupied by East Town. So you can write it here and keep. Okay, so 100 out of 250 is going to be occupied by East Town. Then Southwell will occupy 90 out of 250, right? So 90 out of the 250 total asset. Okay, in that ratio I will split. Then 60 out of 250. Okay, this, so 50 out of 250. Now the third one is I have the total staff to be 25. So we know how much is the proportion. So 13 out of 25 staff are working in the East Town. 8 staff out of the total 25 staff is working in Southwell. Okay, and then Northam, it will have 4 out of the entire 25 staff. So now that we know the proportions, okay, now we can, and even the revenue. So when you add up 500, 350 and 150, it will be, I think, 1000 and, okay, 1000. So the proportion will be occupied. The revenue is 500 out of 1000 is going to be 5, okay. So it is going to generate like, so the revenue is going to be around 500 out of 1000. Okay, this one, the revenue generated by Southwell is going to be like 500 out of 1000 is total revenue is generated by Southwell. Then 350 out of that 1000 is going to be 500 out of 1000 is going to be generated by East Town, and 350 out of that 1000 is going to be generated by Southwell, and Northam is going to generate 150 out of 1000. Okay, proportion. So this is how you can write. Now let us split this cost, rent 75, among the 3 departments using the ratio, okay, of usage. So first one is the rents. So the rents are going to be split like this. Okay, 75,000 is the total value. 75,000 times, I said it's based on the floor area. So I am seeing that it is occupying 15, okay, over 25. So that is going to be the value I am going to split. Now let's write for all and then we can easily calculate. So for the Southwell, it is going to be equal to 8 times 25. Okay, 8 times 25, and for the Northam, it's going to be equal to 2 times 25. Now this entire 75,000 is going to be split as, first one is 45,000. Okay, it's going to be split as 45,000. The second one is, when you calculate, it will come up to 24,000, and the third one, 75,000 times 2 divided by 25, it will come up to 6,000. So you can also check, when you add up all this, it should come back to 75,000. Okay, value worth, it should come back. Okay, it should be the same amount. So now we can write here. So the first one is the rent 45,000, and then for the second one, Southwell, it's going to be 24,000, and for the third one, it's going to be 6,000. Then next one is the depreciation. Depreciation is, so whatever I have written here, this is a knowledge. Okay, this is knowledge you should know beforehand. So next, depreciation is going to be, okay, how is the depreciation cost going to be split? So depreciation cost, the total is 50,000. So 50,000 times, based on the equipment asset it's using. So 100 divided by 250. So that will be equal to, we will calculate that. So let's write for all the three departments. So for the second one, Southwell, it is 90 over 250. This 50,000 has to be split, and for the third one, it is over 60 over 250 has to be given. So now let's calculate these values. So for the first one, it will be equal to 20,000. For the second one, it's going to be equal to 18,000. And for the third one, it is going to be equal to 12,000. Now let's enter these costs which has been split. So 20,000 plus 18,000 and then 12,000. Okay. So I have split the total cost of 50,000 between the three departments. Then the light and the heat is 30,000. This is split based on the floor area it occupies. So let's write for that. So heat and light. Okay. Light and heat. So the total cost to be split is 30,000 times the area. Okay, it's a floor area, so it is 15 over 25. Okay, and then for the second one, it is going to be 8 over 25, and for the third one, it's going to be equal to 2 over 25. Okay, so now let's calculate these values. So 30,000, when it is split in the ratio of 15, 8 and 2, okay, the value is going to be equal to 18,000, and for the second one it's 9,600, and for the third one it's going to be 2,400. So let's write these values that has been apportioned like this. So 18,000, 9,600, and then you have 2,400. Then you have, okay, staff cost. Staff cost is based on the number of employees. So let's calculate that. So staff costs. So the first one is going to be, the total is 35,000 times 13 over 25. Okay, number of employees. So that is equal to, we have to calculate. Let's write the ratios and then you can input in the calculator and calculate the values. So 35,000 is going to be split in the ratio of 13 is to then 8. Okay, 8 times 25 for the Southwell, and this 35,000 for the Northam, it will be split in the ratio of 4 over 25. So now let's calculate these values. So the values will be equal to 18,200, and then this one will be equal to 11,200, and then we have 5,600. So let's write these values. So for the staff cost, it is going to be 18,000, 18,200, and then you have 11,200, and then for the third one you have 5,600. And then finally you have the marketing cost. So let's write for that department. Okay, marketing cost. So now the total value is 50,000 times, this is split in the ratio of the revenue. So 500 divided by 1000. So the value is going to be equal to, then the second one will be 350. Okay, This is 350 over 1000, and for the third north arm it is going to be equal to 150 over 1000. Now the values are going to be equal to, first one it is 25,000, and for the second one it will be 17,500, and for the third one it's going to be 7,500. So now let's write the values here. So here marketing costs are 25,000 for East Town, then 17,500 for Southville, and then 7,500 for Northam. So 7,500. Now let's add up for all the departments, individual department, how the cost has been, the total cost that has got apportioned. So it will be equal to 126,200. Okay, and then for the Southville you add up 24,000 plus 18,000 plus 9,600 plus 11,200 and 17,500. The value is going to be equal to 8,300. So 8,300. And for the third Northam it's 6,000 plus 12,000 plus 2,400 plus 5,600 and plus 7,500. It's going to be equal to 33,500. So this is how you